Hey guys, welcome to the Airy Side Podcast with your hosts, Sophia
D.
And Elena.
We appreciate you guys listening, and we hope you're ready to get on the Airy Side.
All right, who has the mommy of a case for us today?
Yes, I have a case. And everybody have the drinks too?
Yep.
Okay.
Who made those drinks?
Okay, Sophia clearly wants. Yes, Sophia made the drinks for us.
And
today.
what are they?
They are margaritas.
Are they good?
They are.
They are good.
Redemption from the intro when I made
Yeah.
my first margarita, and this is the second one. And it actually looks super fancy, and it's real good.
Okay,
Right.
Mom. What do you have for us today?
My story is about someone in an area we used to live. Do you guys want to guess?
Illinois?
Yes.
Cool.
So, and I lived there all my life, and I never knew of the story. So when I found out, I found it very interesting. Let's start with this individual. His name was Herman Webster Mudgett, but he's better known as H. Holmes.
Oh, I think I know. I don't know like specifics, but I know of this story.
You may. So now let's go back. We're going to go back just a little bit. He was born May 16, 1861.
Okay, so
And
this
he-
is
in
going-
New Hampshire. Yeah, so
Okay.
it is quite an old story. So I could get back in his childhood if you guys, I have some information, but I'm just going to go into when he first got married, which was July 4th, 1878. And he married Clara. And she was also from New Hampshire. So they had a son named Robert in 1880. So these dates are important, just kind of, okay? Mm-hmm. So they said that he was a little bit abusive and violent, and she was kind of tired of it. And in 1884, she moved back to Hampshire.
It was H. Holmes that was
H. Holmes, right?
Okay, she said it was abusive.
Yes, her husband.
Okay.
That's him. So now, while they were married in 1882, because she left him in 84, he went to medical school at University of Michigan. And, ta-da!
That's you and Mish is where Sophia went to school.
So anyways, while he was there, he was known to steal corpse and then sell them as cadavers. And he used to make false insurance claims.
Back up. A couple things. One, he stole cadavers at U of Mich.
He used the corpses. Corpses.
So wait. So did he steal the corpses from U of Mich?
Yes.
Okay.
He sold them as cadavers, and he also used the corpses to make false insurance claims.
Who did he sell the cadavers to?
Who knows? Maybe to the school back or another school, or I have no idea.
Okay, interesting.
And they said he made false insurance claims, claiming that I think his family who died or something. But anyways, this is just minor. So after he graduated school, and it's unclear if he went to Chicago in 1985 or 1886. And he was known when he went to Chicago as Dr. Herman H. Holmes, and then it ended up being H. Holmes.
So he got his medical degree at U of Mich. Okay.
As far as I know. And he got his job as a pharmacist.
Chicago.
In Chicago. And that was his job as a pharmacist.
He's a Midwestern boy.
Kind of. He was very hardworking, they say, and he eventually bought the drugstore he used to work at.
What? The drugstore?
Yeah, he was working at the drugstore as a pharmacist. I'm assuming it was a little different back then, so he bought it. So now, in 1986, kind of the same year he moved to Chicago, more or less, while he was still married to Clara. Now, you guys remember he married Clara. Holmes married 24-year-old Myrta Belknap, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He tried to file for divorce from Clara a few weeks after marrying Myrta, and he put some claims that there was some infidelity on her part, on Clara's part. And the claims could not be proven, and so the divorce went nowhere. And they think...
But he married this other girl?
Yeah, he married this other girl while he was married to Clara.
Mm-hmm.
And Clara, they think, didn't even know that he had filed for divorce.
Oh,
It sounds like an 1800s version of like Dayline or something.
Kind of, right?
So, okay, so she separated from him, but she doesn't even know that he's trying to divorce her.
Right, and nor is she aware that he's married again.
Okay.
Okay, so the divorce was never finalized, and he had one daughter with Myrta in 1989, and he was still in Chicago at this time. I'm not sure if Myrta was, because there's no mention of that, but just so you know. So while he was working and he owned the drugstore, he bought a lot and built this house right across from the drugstore, and it was known as Myrtle Castle. They claim that this house had secret passages, trapdoors, soundproof rooms, doors that could be locked from the outside, gas jets to asphyxiate gas jets to asphyxiate victims, and a kill to cremate the bodies.
What?
A kill?
A kill to cremate the bodies.
Quick question: Was this an actual castle?
No, it was actually like one of those big buildings in Chicago. If you guys knew that, looked more like an apartment building or anything, but it was a house.
Okay.
He built it as a house.
Okay,
was-
just
He
casually
built it, right? I think I'm okay. So
at gas chambers. Okay,
I don't have much. There's not much of a shock factor here for me because I'm pretty sure I've heard this story before.
Yeah.
He built. Did you think we hadn't heard of it?
I don't know. I didn't. This is my first time.
I mean, I know the name, and I know he did bad things, but I don't know specifically what.
I know he built out this entire house with everything.
You do?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. I don't know the specifics about it. So gas chambers and okay, wow, that's shocking but also to hear in given the times.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, he obviously had enough money that he could do that with.
Yeah.
So now in 1893, in Chicago they had the World's Columbian Exposition. And Holmes supposedly, because there is some people maybe said this didn't really happen, but in the sense of opening his house, Holmes opened up his home as a hotel for visitors. They know that's true. Okay. Unfortunately, they claim many guests didn't survive. Many of the victims, no one knows the total number, were women who were seduced, swindled, and then killed.
Okay, I feel like.
Seduce, swindled, and kill.
Yeah, that's.
Take a drink.
Yeah, I mean,
You need that. I am.
So he turned it into a hotel, and women started to show up, check in, and then they never checked out, and that went unnoticed for a while. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but.
I guess it did. I mean, that's the whole thing. Some people said that there's no way that many people disappeared.
Oh, okay.
But there is some truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
There is some truth. I just don't know, what he did.
Right.
He also owned a building and used for glass beads. But in there, he could also burn a lot of, what do you call it? Stuff that he had that he didn't want people to find out, and they said that they're not even know for sure if he even used that factory to do glass beads or he just used it
To do what?
to create glass beads.
Oh, glass beads. Okay.
Because that's what it was for. They're thinking that maybe he used it to just burn down anything, bodies,
Evidence,
clothes, evidence, anything.
Okay.
So they're not sure for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
So let's go through who he has murdered. Holmes had a mistress. Mind you, he's been married through all this time.
Yeah, two people.
Yeah. Her name was Julia Smith, and she was 31 years old. She was the wife of a doctor, Lawrence Connor, and he had moved into the building that Holmes owned, and he was working at his pharmacy. She was working at his pharmacy jewelry counter.
Wait, you said she was working at his pharmacy and what?
Jewelry counter. So she was helping him,
Oh.
sell jewelry at his pharmacy.
Wait, so she's working in his pharmacy and he decides to kill her?
No, this is his mistress.
This is his mistress. Hang on, I didn't get to this part. She was working. She had moved into the building and then began working at the pharmacy jewelry counter. Okay?
And then the affair started to happen. I'm
Somewhere around
Yeah.
there. Now, after the doctor found out about Smith's affair with Holmes, he quit his job because I guess he was maybe working in the pharmacy and moved away.
Wait, who? Smith quit or
No,
Holmes?
his wife.
His wife quit.
His
Okay.
husband. Her husband quit. Smith had
Wait,
a husband.
I think we're a little bit confused here. You're describing how he married his mistress?
No. So, she is a lightweight to begin with. no. This
Holmes
is talking
had
about
a mistress who
They're
was
not married.
31-year-old, and she's mistress means not married.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought he already married his mistress.
No.
He married the other woman.
Well,
he
technic-
married her.
Yeah, so he had,
He
a wife,
Okay.
didn't technically ever divorce, and then married Martha, is her name?
Myrta.
Myrta. And then while being married to Myrta
Most
is now
likely, right.
most likely, is now having an affair
Oh,
with this other lady who worked at the store.
This is like, wow, he's really getting it all tangled up.
And now I'm confused about who's quitting their job.
Okay. Julia was the one who was having an affair,
Right.
and lived in the building, and she lived there with her husband, who was a doctor, Lawrence Connor. So I don't know if Dr. Connor worked for Holmes or not. That I
Okay.
don't know. But when he found out they were having an affair, he quit his job and left Chicago. Okay.
And left probably
Right.
her.
He quit his job, moved away. Now, at this point, they had a 5-year-old daughter named Pearl. Okay. He left Pearl behind with the mother because she gained custody of Pearl. Okay. And and Julia, who's having the affair with Holmes, continued her relationship with Holmes.
Okay.
Now, both of those individuals disappeared Christmas Eve of 1891.
Wow, Julia
And her
Pearl.
And Pearl.
5-year-old. Okay.
Ooh.
Holmes initially claimed that Julia left unexpectedly to visit her dying sister. But then he changed his story, and he said she fled her former husband. Like she fled away from him. Right.
To get away from
Right.
even though he was already gone.
Yeah. Ultimately, Holmes later claimed that Julia had actually died during an abortion. Then they say, despite his medical background, he didn't have the experience or the know of how to carry out an abortion. And mortality for abortion back then was really high.
Yeah.
Holmes then claimed to have poisoned Pearl, likely to hide the circumstance of her mother's death. Pearl's the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
A partial skeleton, possibly of Pearl, it was a child around the age, was found when they excavated Holmes' cellar. So they do find evidence in Holmes' house.
Okay.
Of the daughter. What about the mother?
No, that's what they say. I mean, that's all I have here.
Okay, not that I would want him to, but why didn't he just? If he had put the daughter's body in the kilt, wouldn't they have gotten rid of the bones or most of them?
They said they found her body when they excavated, so he buried her. I mean,
That's
and
so
it's partial
interesting because,
skeleton.
like, to me, I think he has that kill, and I think he has it for nefarious reasons.
Well, it could be he didn't feel like putting it in for a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how the man. He's an interesting figure.
But they never found the mom's body, right?
Not that I know of. So then there was a 60-year-old creditor of Holmes. His name was John DePruel, I think. And he died of a stroke on April 17, 1891 at the drugstore. Okay, at the drugstore. This DePruel collapsed and died shortly after Holmes poured a black liquid down his throat. And a witness said that this is what they happened. Foul play was not suspected in 1895.
Wait, somebody saw H.H. Holmes pour
Black liquid down this individual's throat, and no one suspected it was foul play.
Wow.
However, this individual, DePruel, had life insurance. And Holmes profited from his death.
Okay, so he's
He's a serial. He sounds like a serial killer.
Yeah.
That also profits from it.
You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of like that, like the it was the same story, kind of similar about this old woman who used to open her home up to like homeless people and just people in need, and then and then she would kill them and take the.
That's a recent one.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's more recent. It was like late 1900s or early 2000s, something like that, or maybe even. I don't know, but I remember like that she was taking their checks off for them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. I remember that story.
Yeah.
Now, the same year, in 1891, Emily Van Tassel also disappeared after working at Holmes' drugstore.
Okay.
Now, Holmes spoke of her in his confession at the end. Okay.
Okay.
So they believe that she was a victim of his. In 1892, there was an individual called Dr. Rustler.
Mm-hmm.
He had an office in the castle, and he went missing that year. Holmes mentioned killing Rustler in his confession.
Okay. And is this a guy or this is a guy?
I'm assuming it's a gentleman because I don't think women became doctors.
Yeah, I don't think they.
I wonder if the era allowed him to get away with this for as long as he was able.
Probably. I mean,
Well, he was also a doctor, so I don't think they thought
Yeah.
he did anything.
Yeah, I'm sure that helped.
There was also a woman in 1892 named Kitty Kelly.
Kelly?
Kitty Kelly,
What a
yes.
name.
Okay.
She was a stenographer of Holmes, and she went missing.
And she was. Say that again.
She went missing.
Okay.
In May of 1892, there was a 23-year-old Emmeline Singrand, and she worked in Holmes' building. And she worked for him for 6 months. He said he hired her as his secretary and had an affair with her. However, weeks before she disappeared, she told people that she had lost interest in Holmes and their relationship. She was last seen December of 1892.
Wow, a lot of people with Holmes really seem to disappear.
Right. Her parents were informed that she had left to marry a man named Robert Phelps. The authorities believe that she got pregnant with Holmes and that he possibly tried to do an abortion and then tried to cover it up.
Right.
Her skeleton was found by the police at the home of a Chicago physician who admitted that he had articulated 3 skeletons for H.S. Holmes.
He had what?
Articulated
What does that mean?
skeletons. I think that means he removed them.
Like,
I'm confused.
yeah, I'm confused. What do you mean he removed the skeletons from where?
From Holmes' house.
Oh, like he picked them up?
Yeah, let's check the word.
Where's Merita in all of this?
How do I know where she is?
It's your story.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I guess I guess that's what you get when you get stories from like 1800s. Like they're not going to be the most up to date with all the.
Do you like old stories, Mom?
Is this a truth question or?
Yeah, I'm like, do you like stories from like the 1800s?
Like, are you specifically asking true crime stories?
I
or-
don't know. I just found this one interesting.
Oh, okay.
So it says it's having parts or distinct areas organized into a coherent or meaningful whole.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
assuming he went in and organized it and took it. That's what I think.
I have a question for this woman. You said she was working part of the castle, so this wasn't the pharmacy, or
No, it was his house.
it was his house. So she was,
But
working.
he claimed they were secretaries. So,
You don't know really. We don't really know the truth.
Yes, we don't.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting closer to 1893 now.
How many people go into his house or what is it, hotel?
Well, that was his hotel was for the expedition only.
Like, how many people are surviving around him is my question.
His wives,
Yeah, I guess.
which is quite interesting, actually. In early 1893, there was a actress. She was 24 years old. Her name was Wilma or Minnie Williams, and she had moved to Chicago. He claims he met her at some employment office. I don't know why, but there is speculation that he had met her in Boston several years in the past because he was in Boston.
Okay.
Holmes offered her a job at the hotel as his personal stenographer, and she accepted it. Now, he persuaded Williams to transfer the deed of her property in Fort Worth, Texas, to a man named Alexander Bond, who was actually the alias of Holmes.
How did he convince her to do that?
I don't know. Maybe he's great in bed. I have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Put that in merch.
In April 1893, she actually transferred the deed to that individual.
Okay,
And-
so it's in his name, basically. Kind of.
Right. There's another individual who actually, and then I'll get into it later about this man. The following month, Holmes and Williams presented themselves as husband and wife, and they rented an apartment in Chicago's Lincoln Park. So now Minnie had a younger sister, 18-year-old Anna. They came to visit July 5th, 1893. She wrote to her aunt that she was planning to accompany her brother Harry, since all of a sudden they're married, to Europe. In it, she told her aunt, "Don't worry about me. Brother Harry is going to take care of me, and I don't have to worry about financially or anything else."
Wait, so who is she in relation to Holmes? Who's, I'm assuming, is brother Harry.
Holmes married, supposedly, Minnie, had a relationship with Minnie, and Minnie gave him the property. Then him and Minnie went to buy a house in 1893, and Minnie's sister came, Anna.
Uh-huh.
And then Anna wrote a letter to her aunt telling her not to worry about her because she's going to Europe with her brother Harry, which is not really her brother, but maybe brother-in-law, but they call him brother. And then her brother Harry will take care of her, which is really Holmes.
What did Minnie know about this at the time?
I have no idea. I wasn't there.
I'm just confused. She's going on a trip, and she tells her aunt about it, but she doesn't tell Minnie.
I don't know if Minnie thought they were going.
Okay.
I just love how you're the one that made all the drinks for everyone, and you're the one that's knocked out over there.
No, I'm not. I'm participating. You can
Every so often I look over and you look like you're falling asleep.
So now, she told her aunt that our hard days are over now, more or less. Neither Minnie or Annie were ever seen again.
Minnie or Anna?
Yes.
You called her Annie for a second.
Well, they used to call her Nanny too.
I'm still sharp.
Nanny?
Yeah.
Nanny?
Anna.
Annie.
No,
Anna,
Nanny.
banana.
It's a fish. Shut up. Nanny.
Nanny. Yeah.
Oh, so that wasn't a mistake. Okay,
No.
okay. Nanny.
Yeah.
Nanny. Oh, okay.
And Holmes used Minnie's name in future scams.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So in 1893, again, John Davis, who was from Pennsylvania, went to the World's Fair and vanished. In 1920, he was declared legally dead. So people are disappearing.
I'm getting really tired of all of Holmes. I don't want to swear.
Say it.
You're gonna bleep this, right?
Yeah, go
I'm
for
really
it.
getting tired of all his bullshit. Like, it's just like one person after the other. It's going on for too long. It's like, it's just ridiculous.
What do you expect? It's the 1800s.
Like, oh my gosh, like one after another. I'm like, this is, I don't know, this is
Well,
out
he's
of
a
control.
serial killer.
It's out of control.
He's a serial killer that
Yeah.
no one knows about. Okay. So now Harry Walker of Indiana went missing in November of 1893. He had insurance on his life to Holmes for $20,000. And he had written to his friends back in Indiana that he was working for Holmes in Chicago.
Is
a
like
red- it's a
none of
red
the
flag.
is none of the insurance companies realizing how much Holmes is getting from these people?
Eventually.
Okay, I was about to say, because if it's not the police, the insurance
It's
people
not
will
the
come.
police. It's actually the insurance
I was
companies who
about to
catch up with them. That's true.
I bet it's gonna be.
It is.
Because it involves their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Elena, did you know that you can take out an insurance, life insurance policy on anyone? Like, you don't even need to be related to them or even know them.
No, but that's stupid.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's
Lovely.
It's just crazy to me that people can do that.
Now, Holmes had another individual, Benjamin. I'll get into Benjamin. They took this guy named George Thomas out to a Mississippi swamp in June of 1894 and killed him.
Okay, H. Holmes took who?
This gentleman, George Thomas, out to the Mississippi swamp and killed him.
He did that by himself?
No, with Benjamin, and I'll get into about Benjamin because Benjamin is a whole different story.
So he's got a partner in crime now.
Right. Holmes confessed to his second wife about this murder.
Now he's confessing?
Well, this is now nothing. Milford Coyle of Maryland disappeared after receiving a telegram from Holmes to come to Chicago in July of 1894. This is most of this is in Chicago, except there's a Mississippi.
Yeah.
And
You know why we say you gotta stay away from Chicago. There's a reason for it.
You're the only one that says. You're the only
Yeah.
one that says that, Sophia.
no, it says that.
Look, there's been issues with Chicago.
No,
since
not like
Okay.
this. Come on.
Come on, one
This
bad
guy
apple.
is a serial killer. There's serial killers everywhere.
Yeah.
And he unfortunately got away with it. Now they think they think another possible victim is Lucy Burbank. Her bank book was found with human hair in the chimney flue of the castle in 1895.
Her bank book.
Yeah, you know the book where you used to write checks or
Yeah.
that,
Had her. Oh, really?
yes.
Interesting place to put it.
Now, allegedly, Holmes claimed that he had killed two persons in Lake County in the 1890s, which was confirmed years later when the remains of an unknown man and woman were found in a farm in 1919.
It sounds like his, what do you call it? His
MO?
MO, yeah,
Yeah.
it's changing.
Yeah. Well, it's more like all over the place. Like
He's
can't.
all over the place.
Yeah,
He
I guess
can't
that's a better way to
decide.
describe it.
He kind of is just like hyped up. Like not hyped up, but like he's just like, I don't know. Like he just can't decide like who he wants to attack or what his target is.
I think he's just looking for easy targets
anyone.
and for money through them.
Mm-hmm.
So they say he allegedly seduced and murdered a number of women. Typically, he was like engaged to them and then killing them after he secured control of their life savings.
You know what's really interesting is like, nowadays if like one fiance dies, yeah, it usually like raises some red flags. But in this period of time, he had multiple fiancés died, and it just was nothing.
He had a very smooth personality too that no one thought.
And I'm sure it wasn't digital back then.
True.
So it may
It's
not have
just crazy.
flagged as easily.
Yeah.
Well, and people saying they were missing. I mean, what's going on? There's a big, word fair. How do you prove if they even came to Chicago and where
Right.
they stayed? And
And there's no database or anything that they can connect things.
now Holmes also required all his employees to carry life insurance policies and to name him as the beneficiary.
Wow.
And he collected their money after he killed them. He also sold bodies of many of his victims to local medical schools.
So now he's just trying to find more ways to get money off of them.
Yeah. Now there is a little bit of a dispute whether he killed the people while he had opened it as a hotel, his home, but I think it appears like he had.
Yeah.
So in 1893, in the height of all his killings in Chicago that we are aware of, he was arrested for insurance fraud. Oh,
Shocker.
after a fire at his home.
It's
And
always a fire.
he was then released. That's when he met Benjamin, who was a carpenter, and they became close friends. So Benjamin became his right hand for for several criminal crimes. The insurance companies were pressing to prosecute him for arson, and this made Holmes leave Chicago in July of 1894.
Okay.
All right, this gets better.
Can I guess where he goes next?
Go.
Iowa.
No. He married.
Why would anyone want to go to Iowa?
Well, he was going through the Midwest.
Well,
You can't say that about Iowa. I know a lot of people who love Iowa.
I'm just saying, like, out of all the options, I know people go back me up.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we're just not Midwestern and like kind of people. So it's not. We're not saying there's anything wrong with Iowa.
So this gets better. In January of 1894, before all this thing, where he disappeared from Chicago, he married Georgiana.
Who?
Georgiana.
I thought you said Giordano at first.
In Denver, Colorado, while he was still married to Clara and Myrta.
Okay, makes sense, I guess.
He reappeared in Fort Worth, where he inherited property from the Williams sisters, if you guys remember, Annie and
Minnie.
Minnie.
Oh, the one that sounded like Nanny.
Yes. And he tried to build an incomplete structure and didn't want to pay the suppliers and contractors. So I think he disappeared from that.
Convenient.
Yeah. Now, July of 1894, he leaves Chicago and he goes to St. Louis, Missouri, where he gets arrested briefly for selling mortgage goods.
Oh, okay.
You know, he bailed out and he concocted a plan to swindle an insurance company out of $10,000 by faking his own death. Okay. So he tried to do this, and the insurance company became suspicious and refused to pay. So Holmes didn't press the claim. Instead, this friend Benjamin that he met, he and Benjamin agreed that they will fake Benjamin's death now, and that they would split the money. So it was going to be $20,000, and then the $10,000 would go to Benjamin's wife, even though he wasn't going to die, and the other 10 would go to Holmes. This was going to happen in Philadelphia. So what was going to happen is Benjamin was going to go and pretend he's an inventor and create the name of B.F. Perry. Then he was going to be killed and disfigured in a lab explosion. So it was up to Holmes to find a cadaver to pretend to be Benjamin, which Holmes does have a little bit of experience on this.
Yeah.
So what happens is Holmes decides, then this is September 4th of 1894, to kill Benjamin himself.
Oh.
He claimed,
What, really? He killed Benjamin?
Yeah.
He just...
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
He knocks him out unconscious with chloroform, sets his body on fire with benzene. Now, in his confession, Holmes finally says that Benjamin was still alive when he put chloroform on him and set him on fire.
So he lit him on fire while he was alive. That's
Forensic evidence that was presented at Holmes' trial showed that the chloroform had been administered after Benjamin's death.
Oh, after. Okay.
Right. Which means he was probably alive or something.
Wait, no. If he says it was after his death, then
Yeah, he put it on there.
yeah. So he. Right. Oh, you're saying he was alive then for the burning.
Right.
Oh, okay. Not for the. Okay.
No. Because Holmes said that felt that if he ever get caught, the chloroform wouldn't prove anything other than Benjamin tried to commit suicide and not murder.
Oh.
So I don't know more.
Anyone who's going to just chloroform themselves.
So guess what? Holmes got the money.
Wait, okay, so I just want to understand. Benjamin died because he did chloroform first and then set him on fire?
No. Chloroform
Sophia.
just knocked him out.
Yeah, I know, but he chloroformed him first.
After they did during his trial, they did.
Then how did he?
Maybe he knocked him out. I don't know.
That's what I'm just curious about.
Well, did you say he used an accelerant?
Yes, but I mean, he may have still knocked him out. Holmes could have. He's a doctor, so maybe Holmes gave him some medicine, knocked him out.
No, I think he most likely probably just lit him on fire.
Well, he could have given just enough chloroform to knock him out real quick
and then
put on a fire, right? But he could have been very well alive. You know, that doesn't mean he was running around or anything. So Holmes collects the money. Now, Benjamin's wife was aware of the scheme that Holmes and Benjamin were doing. So Holmes goes to his wife, her name is Carrie, and convinces Carrie that Benjamin is still around and alive, and he gives her $500. He also convinced her to give him 3 of her 5 kids in his custody.
What?
Yes. I don't know.
So he gave her $500.
And she gave him 3 of her kids in his custody.
What is he planning?
We're going to get there, Sophia.
3 kids are 13-year-old Alice, 9-year-old Nellie, and 7-year-old Howard.
Okay.
The kids traveled, and this is really weird, with Holmes throughout the Northeast United States and into Canada.
So she gave them custody?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What?
In addition, he was also at the same time escorting Carrie, Benjamin's wife, the same way he was traveling with the kids.
So she was with him?
Yes, but they weren't together.
Oh, okay.
That's the interesting thing. Well, he was using various aliases, okay? And he was lying to Carrie about her husband's death. And he even told her that he's in London.
That Benjamin's in London. Okay.
And I think they were also having an affair.
Oh, okay. But there's nothing that...
There's
Mm-hmm.
So because they say that his wife was unaware of the whole affair that was going on. Holmes later confessed to killing Alice and Nellie on October 25th by forcing them into a large trunk and locking them inside.
Alice and who?
Nellie. The
So
two
he
girls.
So he suffocated them?
13 and 19. No, he drilled a hole in the lid of the trunk and put one end of a hose through the hole, attaching the other end to a gas line to asphyxiate the girls. He's into asphyxiation, I think.
Yeah.
So, wow.
He killed both of the girls.
Where's the mother in this?
And he's having an affair with her?
A few
or
blocks
no?
away from this.
He's having an affair with
I think he may have been having an affair with her because she was traveling with him, and I don't know why you travel with him.
But wait, you said she's a few blocks away, or do we...
She traveled the same route he did.
Oh.
Okay, so, and because they say that his wife was unaware of this affair, I'm assuming something was going on with him and her. And it wasn't unusual for him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He buried their nude bodies in the cellar of his rental house in Toronto. Okay, because he had a rental house. So his murder spree ended in Boston on November 17 of 1894 after being tracked there from Philadelphia by the private Pinkerton National Detective Agency. And that was all because of insurance. Now listen to this. This is the interesting thing why they went after him. He was held on an outstanding warrant for horse theft in Texas.
Horse theft?
Yes. The authorities wanted to catch him because they were afraid he would leave the country with his third wife. Like he had gone to Canada. He had come back in.
Yeah. So, okay, for horse theft. That's such an interesting thing to pin someone for.
In July of 1895, after they discovered Alice's and Nellie's bodies, the Chicago police decided to go check Holmes' building, the castle. So they went in there and they felt that a lot of thing was circumstantial physical evidence. They did have a piece of human bone, which they thought maybe it was Julia. They had a child remains, which they thought was Pearl, a burned gold watch, and the dress buttons of Minnie.
Wait, so how did police know to search just from the horse warrant?
No.
Was enough probable?
Well, from the horse warrant, they held him, and they were holding him just to hold him. They wanted to find a reason to hold him, so they used the horse warrant.
Oh, but did they already have?
But it was the detectives were really after him for the insurance.
Oh, okay. So they
situation.
just did the horse warrant
as the excuse to hold him,
and they were searching the house for like more fraud based.
No, they were. Okay, first, what happened was they held him for the horse warrant because they were after him for insurance fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to hold him so he didn't go out of the country.
Right.
While they had him, then they started investigating for his house in Chicago to see if there's something going on.
For insurance reasons.
Right, but at the same time, they figured out Benjamin was dead.
Okay.
So
they kind of suspected maybe he had killed Benjamin for the insurance money.
Right. And then he was put to trial for the murder of Benjamin in Philadelphia because it was the clearest case of murder they had under him.
Oh, but they suspected him for murder of Benjamin, but they didn't know what they were getting into until after they went to the house.
Yeah, but even though they did find things,
right? It wasn't enough. Yeah.
Right, it wasn't enough.
Okay.
So the clearest case was Benjamin. In 1895, they put him on trial for Benjamin, and he was found guilty and sentenced to death.
Okay.
By then, it was evident that Holmes had also killed 3 of Benjamin's children.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
following his conviction, Holmes confessed to 27 murders in Chicago, Indianapolis, and Toronto, and 6 attempted murders.
Wow. Wait, it was three of Benjamin's children, but I know was it 2 that he put it with the gas?
Yes, it was the girls. There's no mention of the boys.
Okay, but somehow he ended up killing the third one at some point.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't find anything on the boy, and I read a few articles, so I'm assuming, he didn't bring it up or just the articles didn't cover it.
Okay. But he did end up killing the other one as well. Okay.
The third child is also suspected.
Okay.
So May 7 of 1896, Holmes was hung at the Moyamansing prison for, Benjamin's murder.
Mm-hmm.
Until the moment of his death, they said Holmes remained calm, didn't show signs of fear, anxiety, or depression. He asked that his coffin, this is really interesting, be contained in concrete and buried 10 feet deep because he was concerned grave robbers would steal his body and use it for dissection.
Wow.
So,
Makes me wonder what he did with
yes,
bodies in the grave.
Holmes' neck never broke, so he strangled to death slowly, twitching.
His neck.
Because that's how they put him to
hung
death.
yeah.
And he was twitching for 15 minutes before he was pronounced dead.
Wow. I mean, serves him right.
So if your neck does break, does that like immediately?
Yeah, that's easier for you to go straight to death. Now,
Okay.
this is what's really interesting. He confessed to 27 murders. He later increased it to the total number of more than 130.
Jeez.
And some researchers think that the real number is exceeding 200
Wow.
because he also was in other states before he really went to Chicago, and then he also traveled
That's
after
crazy.
Chicago a little bit though.
He definitely did not you can tell, in my opinion. He did not care about people just at all. Like it wasn't even like
He was a
second thought.
true serial killer
Yeah.
that they didn't even. I don't even know if they used that word back then. They also think his childhood was a little interesting, but they also think he may be responsible for the death of a childhood playmate too.
Whoa. Like when he was a kid?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
At what age? Like what age was his child? And
I don't know, but I do know they are they think
it would have been his
Okay.
first kill, like his
Yeah.
first taste of it.
right. There was definitely. I mean, there was things in his childhood, but nothing that said to me, "Oh, he had to become a
Right.
serial killer."
Yeah.
I mean, there's other people who go that. They did say that as a child, he took an interest in death and medicine, and he spent his pastime dissecting animals. So,
Interesting.
if that could be a sign, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, well, how old was he when do you think that, like more adult, like
I have no idea.
I think if he hadn't done anything and he lived a normal life, I don't think that would have been unusual. But given everything else he
Yeah.
did, I think it was.
I
It
agree.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder, but so they don't have any indication that he had like a traumatic childhood at all.
Well, he did. He grew up in they say, a very affluent family. However, it's also told that his father was an alcoholic and abused the family. Now, remember, his first wife claimed he was also abusive. The story also says that he was very smart, but he was bullied by kids at the school. That's all I know about his childhood.
okay.
We don't have like too many details because we know it seems like
We're talking about 1800s here. So.
right.
Wow. That's really interesting. So, I mean, is that it? Is that where it ends with him?
Yes, well, they
Oh,
put him to
wow.
death and he hung. So
Yeah. That's incredible. I mean, it's crazy how someone can go on for so long killing so many people, but at the same time it's not, because I mean, given the time and given the fact that he bounced around a little bit and everything, it's still unbelievable that so many people can go missing around him and like no flags are raised. Police didn't do anything, but of course insurance agencies are the ones that are like, something's going on.
yes, and you know what's interesting is in the past, serial killers didn't move around a lot because it was harder.
Yeah.
And yet he did.
Yeah.
He went, he was in Boston, he was in Philadelphia, he went to Texas, he went to Colorado, he went to Chicago, which he did a lot in Chicago.
Right.
Indianapolis, he obviously went. He went to Canada. I mean, he was moving.
Mm-hmm.
And, it wasn't as easy to move back then. I mean, you could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Takes time, money.
and that's, I think, one of the reasons he disappeared. He got away with it for as long as he did. Now in Chicago, he was there quite a few years till he decided to get up and move. But there are stories that they think he was in. I was reading. I didn't put this story that he was probably in Boston and killed someone there or a child. They think maybe too.
Okay.
So there are stories that they suspect in other
Some
states.
things, but nothing like concrete.
Right. And with Chicago, they don't know for sure, because, they found something, but, they didn't go after him for the ones in Chicago.
Wow, that's unbelievable. But, I mean, it's just crazy to think. I mean, you wonder how long. I mean, this would have gone on until probably he died with the insurance money. The insurance companies didn't.
Well, if he never went after Benjamin with insurance money, I don't know if they also had to warn him on the horse
That's
theft.
true.
But
I mean, maybe like eventually they would have gone after him. But if he didn't go after if he didn't kill Benjamin and get his insurance money, he probably would have been able to continue for a very long time.
yeah, somewhere there with Benjamin at all, I think maybe it created more of a red flag. I mean, remember, there's no databases. There's nothing for the insurance companies to compare with another insurance, unless he was getting red flagged by the same insurance company because he was putting some claims in there and his name kept coming up.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly his name was on a lot of different insurance related.
And he was changing his name.
Right.
He had aliases.
True.
Now, did you guys know this story?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I've heard of when you say castle, I think I remember him killing people in there, but I did not know to the degree or the individual the more smaller details. No.
I was not aware of it at all, and I don't know why, because, being in Chicago, you'd think they would have it on a tour or something that maybe I never heard of
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really crazy Chicago cases that I've heard that I had no idea about until I will hear about them now, and I'm just I had no idea that this was because I think part of it is there's just so many because it's a big city.
Yeah, I think one of the most famous ones that I'm aware of is the clown one.
John
Killing
Wayne
Casey, yeah. Because, I was living there. I was younger at that point, and I think it became a real big story. So
yeah, I mean, I know about him, and I know about the satanic Ripper crew that was in Chicago for a while. Case,
that one's crazy.
That's an episode I do want to do, but it's a lot. It's a heavy episode, so I don't
know. I think this one was a little heavy too.
It
I mean, it is, but when you get into the nitty gritty details of the Chicago Ripper crew, I will say I have I have a very tough stomach when it comes to cases like these. None of them make me feel uncomfortable. When I heard about the Chicago Ripper crew, that was probably the only case that I was oh my, I don't know, I almost got sick to my stomach with that one, and I rarely experience that. And that one is just so twisted and so dark, and it's crazy. But that's definitely something I might want to do in the future. But yeah, I mean,
Sophia, what happened to your margarita?
I wasn't able to finish it.
Yeah, she had about 2 3
tablespoons there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had all of mine, and I'm having a glass of red
I
wine.
made double the amount that I know, and I shouldn't have because I should know better. But I made double the amount that I made for you, and I just cannot finish it. So if you want to finish it, Elena, you can have it.
I'm okay. I mean, it's not even halfway empty.
Yeah, it's not even halfway.
I can't drink anymore.
She's she's what we like to call a lightweight.
That's for sure. So how detailed did you know about this case?
Oh, I knew about his house or whatever castle and how he built it out and specifically made for him. I remember his multiple wives, how it involved the World Fair.
Oh wow!
And that he did a lot of people and I did remember the Chicago and the Michigan connections now. Yeah, those are the details that when you mentioned it, I remembered it. It rang a bell.
I found it interesting because you hear more about serial killers now. Of course, this is the era we're born and all, and we're living. Mm-hmm. But when I was younger, everybody was like, "Oh, these things don't happen," but
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
It's just that as population gets better and more information is out there and technology where you hear things and stuff,
It's
and
easier.
the increase of population, you'll get an increase of that too.
Right.
I don't think it's just interesting to see someone do what he did. I mean, not only was he a killer, he created fraud too.
I
Yeah.
just feel like caring about him, and I get a very cold, like, just dissociated energy from him. Like, he really
Like it was more
did
like
not care at all.
it was
for
more like just
anyone.
like he was on a mission.
And he doesn't look that bad. I mean, he doesn't look.
He looks like a normal person.
yeah, he does,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, like-
actually handsome too. When he was younger,
Wow.
it's not like he's gross or anything.
That's.
I mean, he's not my type, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
I'm not saying he's anyone.
He's like looking for a
saying.
fourth wife.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is he's not
gonna
gross.
find it in me.
I love how the first thing I Google when I'm looking up is a picture of him compared to Keanu Reeves.
Now that's a cute guy.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, my mom finds Keanu
We
Reeves.
cannot compare him and Keanu. Like, why
No,
are they?
I say Keanu's cute.
Yeah.
I know.
Gorgeous.
That's what I'm saying. How can they put him next to Keanu?
Maybe Keanu's going to play him or
Are we
something.
saying his name right? Keanu? I think we are, right?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Oh wait, actually,
Was
he
he-
might play. It says that he's gonna be supposed to play H.H. Holmes in a.
Has he played him already?
I don't know, but this is in 2022, so I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe he did.
a
Maybe
lot
it's
of
coming out
change.
soon.
Maybe it never happened. I don't know.
Something. Yeah.
Oh, it's a Hulu's show. Oh, I gotta look it up.
Is he? Oh, has it been released? Mom's getting way too excited.
Yeah, Mom really likes Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's out or it's gonna come
Oh,
out.
I don't know, but I'm just watching Keanu in the picture, and I'm just sitting there.
Oh wow! You know his castle's a lot bigger than I.
How did we go to
Imagine.
H.H. Holmes to Keanu Reeves?
It's a great question. Let's bring it back.
Wait, but what were you gonna say about the castle?
Oh, it's just a lot bigger than I imagined it. I'm looking at a picture.
Oh, it's expected to hit Hulu in 2024 on 8 episodes. I'm watching that. Do not bother me.
Wow.
Oh, wow, interesting. Yeah, he looks like a normal guy. Like,
Yeah, I think that's how that helped
It's
him get
just
away
a-
with it
yeah.
for so long, and being a doctor, and I'm sure having an educated family, and like
Yeah.
all of that.
And Keanu's going to play him. I guess
that
it was
could be
meant for me to
interesting.
do the story. It was meant for me to do the story because Keanu's going to play
Mom's
him.
gonna volunteer to be one of his wives.
Oh, yeah, Keanu's lining me up. Oh, yes, come over here, Dee. We want you.
hey, you don't know.
Wait, but my last question is: do we know what happened to his wives? His many wives? Like, what's their story? What's their ending?
As far as I know, they were all alive. None of the wives were killed.
Okay,
Okay, interesting. Well, maybe he knew that was too close to.
I hope they found peace.
Yeah.
Lose the ones. I mean, murder, was she kind of involved?
No,
Oh,
none
okay,
of them
okay.
knew anything.
Yeah, I wonder she didn't know anything.
What's really interesting, none of them knew anything, and they were all married to a man
Yeah.
who was never divorced from anyone.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I guarantee you, he did not love any single one of them.
No. Yeah.
I don't know what he loved or didn't because and he had two
Just
kids.
making my opinions here.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do want to thank you guys for tuning in to our episode this week. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Just a reminder to give us a follow and hit that bell notification if you want to get notified when our next episode drops. I think that's it. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No,
No?
Thank you
I'm
for
just trying to
listening.
find out when the show's coming out.
Okay,
Now
you
she's
do
stuck
do
on
that,
that.
Mom. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And remember, guys, stay on the eerie side.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.